Moses Itauma has pulled out of his fight against Germain Franklin, and according to reports, Itauma has suffered injury in training camp, and therefore the fight has been rearranged. Now, as you can see on your screen, the fight was quite an interesting sort of matchup and an interesting card, right? It was called the Magnificent Seven. It was meant to happen in Co-op Live Arena in Manchester, and it's been reported that the fight has been rescheduled because Itauma has suffered a serious injury in training camp. Now, there's been a lot of articles about this, but there's one particular article on the Independent that I think is worth having a look at and reading through the article just to get more information about what has happened and when the fight has been rescheduled to. So as you can see here, Moses Itauma versus Germain Franklin rearranged after British star suffers injury blow. It says that, I'm going to highlight it here, it says that the British heavyweight prospect suffered an injury in training camp, forcing the bout to be pushed back. We go down a little bit. It says that Moses Itauma fight against Germain Franklin has been rearranged after the British heavyweight prospect has suffered an injury in training camp. The unbeaten 21-year-old was set to face durable American on the 24th of January at the Co-op Live in Manchester, but it has now been pushed back to 28th of March at the same venue. Now, this is what Frank Warren and the Queensbury promotional sort of team said. They said, unfortunately, Moses has sustained an injury in camp. So look, guys, it's unfortunate, isn't it? It's unfortunate because I was looking forward to this fight. I think a lot of you were also looking forward to this fight. Moses Itauma versus Germain Franklin. For me, I thought that, it was Moses Itauma's opportunity to show something different that we've never seen him do before. Because I feel like Germain Franklin is a durable, good fighter that would be able to test Moses Itauma. So this card, although I was looking forward to seeing other fights on this card, I was quite interested in the main event because I wanted to see what Germain Franklin can, give to Moses Itauma. What sort of problems can he pose for Moses Itauma to solve, right? Because Moses Itauma is tipped and touted to be the next big thing in the heavyweight division. So I was always interested to know what Moses Itauma can do when he faces a durable fighter that has got pride, right? Someone that wants to fight, someone that wants to win something. Because if you look at Germain Franklin, guys, he's not a pushover. He's not coming to lay down. He's got nothing to lose. If Germain Franklin should beat Moses Itauma, all of a sudden his stock is, out of the window, like it's gone. The sky is the limit for him. And then, he becomes, a star, basically. If he beats Moses Itauma, he becomes a star and then he can get big fights. So I didn't think that Franklin was going to come in here and lay down. I thought that Franklin was going to come in here and show us something. And I thought that it would be an opportunity for us to see what Moses Itauma is made of. But unfortunately, the fight has been postponed to March 28th. And the question that a lot of people will ask in this situation is, who does this favor the most, right? Is it Moses Itauma or is it Franklin? For me, I feel like it favors Franklin because he's the underdog. Now he gets more chance and more opportunity to train, right? To work on his game plan, to learn different things, to get his condition, in check, because it's going to be a fight where Moses Itauma is going to start fast and he's going to start very seriously because he wants to make a statement, right? So Germain Franklin gets more time to train, right? To gel with his team, to learn new things, as I said, to work on a few things here and there. And he has to look forward to sort of solving the speed issue that Moses Itauma brings, and that's something that he can work on by working more on his condition, his durability, and his ability to evade those shots when they come in. So for me, I think this sort of postponement that that has happened just right now with this card favors Germain Franklin more than it favors Moses Itauma. Now, for Moses Itauma, he has to sort of content with an injury. He has to nurse an injury. He has to overcome the injury. We don't know the extent of the injury, but of course it is a serious injury. Otherwise, the fight will not be postponed. So it will be interesting to see what sort of news come out of this after after this breaking news. But Moses Itauma as well has to, overcome the injury, and it has to prepare for this fight. So for me, if anything, it is in Germain Franklin's favor that the fight has been postponed, because he gets more time to work on the things that he needs to work on to ensure that he can give the best performance of his career. Look, I'm interested to know what you guys think about it. Who, in a situation like this, right? Who does who does the fight favor, right? Is it the underdog or the star, the superstar? Which in this case, it is Moses Itauma. I'm interested to know what you guys think about it. But look, this is not new. This is boxing. We've seen it so many times. So many fights over the years have been postponed. We've seen the fight being postponed to 2-3 months later, and then in most cases, really, the fight has gone the way we expected it to go, because Moses Itauma in this situation is still the favourites, right? A lot of people will be picking him to win this fight. Now, whether they'll be picking him to, knock Franklin out in 2 or 3 rounds, that's a different thing. But the majority of people are picking Moses Itauma to get rid of Germain Franklin in an easy fashion. I don't think it happens like that. I think Germain Franklin will actually, pose some sort of issue to Moses Itauma, and it's up to Moses Itauma to answer to those questions, right? To provide answer and solutions into those questions. I've always said this, right? And I'll say it again. I think for us to know that Moses Itauma is the real deal, is the guy that, he's been touted to be, I think he needs to show that he can come back when he's behind on the cards to win a fight. He needs to show that, if he's knocked down, he can rally up and he can gear himself up and come back to win the fight. And he needs to show that he can adapt in fight. When things are not going his way, can he adapt? Can he show us something different that we haven't seen before? And maybe, just maybe, Germain Franklin could be the one to bring that out of Moses Itauma. It will be interesting to see. But look, I am interested to know what you guys think about Moses Itauma versus Germain Franklin being postponed. Moses Itauma having an injury in training camp. We know that, with Moses Itauma's training camp, they are very meticulous, right? Ben Davison, Lee Wiley, these guys, according to reports that we've been getting, they study a lot of footages. They study a lot of fight footage and stuff like that, and that's how they learn about the opponent and prepare for them. So is it something that they were working on specifically for Franklin that caused an injury? Was it overtraining? Moses Itauma is the 21. Should a 21-year-old be having injuries early in his career? Because this is something that could affect, right? This is something that could affect him going forward in his career. If other fighters, hear the news that Moses Itauma has been injured here and there. I mean, it's his first major injury, so we're not jumping into conclusions here. But this is boxing. When fighters can smell any hint of negativity or any hint of anything that they can take advantage of, they'll do that. Now, is Germain Franklin thinking that Moses Itauma is not 100% by the time the fight gets underway, that he thinks he can exploit those sort of differences or those sort of negativity or those sort of injuries? It'll be interesting to see. Look, it's an interesting take. I am quite looking forward to this fight for when it happens in March, but I'm also interested to know what you guys think about it. Moses Itauma versus Germain Franklin postponed to 28th March instead of this month. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section below.